What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. So the 2019 NBA draft is officially over, and there were some great picks and there were some not so great picks. So today I'm going to give y'all my top 3 best picks of the 2019 draft and the ones that I thought were kind of trash. So let's hop into this. So number 1 on my list is obviously the number 1 pick, Zion Williamson. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on this particular pick because we know what Zion brings to the table. He's a great athlete. He's a great rebounder. He has a high motor. His size is almost like football player size. He's already NBA ready. The only concern is obviously his jump shot. In the NBA, you have to be able to shoot the ball. Look at Ben Simmons. He can't really shoot. He did okay this year into the playoffs, so people will figure it out. You got to find a way to shoot outside the paint. Obviously, Zion was number 1 for a reason. I don't really think this is a big deal as much as it is for Ben Simmons. Zion at least shot a couple threes during his college career with Duke. Not that many, and I'm saying he's a great shooter because he's actually a horrible shooter. I'm a Duke fan. But at the same time, occasionally he will make that jump shot. So I think for him going number 1 for the Pelicans was great because they made that trade. He doesn't have to come in and really be that guy. Obviously, they want him to be that guy. But they have other young talent that can step up when Zion doesn't step up. So he doesn't really have to come in there and try as hard as he really needs to, kind of like RJ Barrett, who has the whole franchise on his shoulders. So I think number 1, the Pelicans, this is a great pick for them. Now at number 2, I have the Atlanta Hawks. They chose DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. At number 4, they got DeAndre Hunter. He's a forward that plays on the defensive side, and he's also able to get a bucket on the offensive side. So I think getting a defensive player like Hunter is something Atlanta really needed, just because, let's be honest, Trae Young isn't the best defender. He gets blown by a lot. So having someone like Hunter to be the next stopper as an offensive player blows by Trae Young, this is great because Hunter can really be a shot blocker, and also once he blocks a shot, he can get out, run the floor, and run to the other side to the rim and be that coast-to-coast guy. And also, defense goes a long way in the NBA. Look at players like Jimmy Butler and all the other defensive players in the league. So if you come in already with a defensive mindset, you will have a long, great career in the NBA. Plus, offense is something you can work on. Look at Kawhi. Kawhi came in as a defensive stopper, and now he's one of the top offensive players in the league. So, not saying DeAndre Hunter is going to be like Kawhi, but you get what I'm saying. Defense goes a long way in the NBA. Now, moving on to Cam Reddish. I really think people sleep on Cam Reddish. Granted, he slipped down a little couple picks, and I was very shocked about that. I don't think people give Cam Reddish the credit he deserves. Now at Duke, I'm a Duke fan. Everyone knows that. At Duke, he was outshined by Zion and RJ, so he didn't really have a chance to shine. And when he did, sometimes he didn't really shine as much as I would like. And I think just because he was always playing the back seat, so sometimes it was hard for him to really find his niche or find his groove throughout the season because he was honestly the 3rd option. But he did have spurts throughout the season where you can really see that Cam Reddish can be that next great talent in the NBA. Now, I do really think he's a great shooter. I know people say he's not that great of a shooter, but like I said, he didn't really get a chance to get in rhythm. But when he was in rhythm, that man was on. Now, I definitely think this is a steal for the Hawks, combining him and Hunter together. Like I said, Hunter could play the defensive end, and Cam could create his own shot and get his own bucket. Plus, it's already clear what type of players Atlanta already has and what type of roles everyone's going to. So I think they're really going to gel with the Atlanta cast. Now, let's transition to some of the biggest losers of the night. My first loser is not really the biggest, but it is a loser to me because I just couldn't figure out what in the world they were doing. The Charlotte Hornets. Why would you draft PJ Washington? You already have a bunch of forwards on the team right now, so it doesn't really make sense to draft another forward. Plus, you already know Kemba and Jeremy Lamb could be possibly leaving, so don't you think it was better to draft a guard to replace Kemba or a guard to replace Jeremy Lamb? So that was just mind-boggling to me. So I just really had to throw them out there in the bus one time because I couldn't really figure out why you drafted a number 4. Now, speaking of forwards, the biggest L of the night came from the Phoenix Suns. They drafted Cameron Johnson. Now, like I said, I'm a Duke fan. I'm not taking away nothing from Cameron Johnson. He really played great this season and he shot lights out. But I don't think he played that well to be selected at the 11th overall pick. Like, he was projected to be late first round, early second round. So I feel like the Phoenix Suns really drafted him too early. Think about it. You traded to the 11th pick. There were plenty of other options on the board, plenty of other better players, and you decided to draft Cameron Johnson. He's the same player as TJ Warren, like legit the same player. Did we not forget that TJ Warren was averaging 18 points per game and shot above 40%? Like, come on now, why would you draft a player similar as TJ Warren when there were so many other players on the board? For the third year in a row, you drafted a small forward. Did you not forget that you need a guard since you lost Eric Bledsoe? Like, why would you get another small forward? This just doesn't make sense to me. This is worse than the Charlotte Hornets. Like, honestly, you made a stupid pick. And what makes it even worse is reports are saying that you're not even going after a guard. You're not even picking up D'Angelo Russell, according to reports. So at that moment when you drafted Cameron Johnson, Kobe White, a guard, his teammate, was on the board. You could have drafted him and later still got Cameron Johnson. So I don't know who's in the GM staff right there, who's making the picks for y'all, but that person needs to get the boot because clearly y'all wasn't thinking. Again, I'm not taking away anything from Cameron Johnson. I'm pretty sure he worked his tail off to get where he is now, to boost his stock, to get up there. But I just don't agree with drafting him so early up in this stage. Now, as I mentioned before, this video was relatively short just because this year's NBA draft really didn't stand out to me. Like I said, there were some good picks and there were some okay picks and there were some trash picks. But nothing really made me do like, wow, I gotta do a whole video on them. Everybody I talked about, good or bad, those top 5 players were really the ones that stood out to me. Now, if you got some players that stood out to you or you think was trash, hop in the comment box and we can talk about it. As always, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And make sure you hit that bell button to get notified when my videos post. Until next time, I'm gonna catch y'all later.